Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a nice break. So let's continue and look at the interrelationships, but this time between the micro and the market environment. Now, when we refer to the interrelationships between the micro or the business and the market environment, we are going to specifically focus on the components of the market environment. So the first relationship we are going to look at is between the business and its consumers. Now remember, the business wants to make a profit. In order for them to make a profit, they have to deliver a product which the consumers want to buy. So that will be a product which the consumers need or what they want. So when we look at the relationship, that is exactly what we are going to explain. The consumers depend on the business. And why do they depend on the business? It's to satisfy their needs and wants. And why do the business depend on the consumers? Because the consumers provide them with an income. So the public relations department will always focus on creating a positive business image, because remember, a positive business image will give the business a positive experience for the consumers. So the consumers will be more prone to coming back and supporting the business again if they have a positive image of the business. And the marketing department will also be very focused on maybe doing market research or advertising the products, because they want to have correct information, firstly, to deliver a good product to the consumers. And of course, advertising will let the consumers know, hey, we've got this product for you guys. So that is then the relationship between the business and the consumers, where the business provides the product and the consumers provide the income. And the business wants to do everything to keep the consumers happy and keep them coming back. So that's the relationship between the business and the consumers. The second relationship here with the market environment is between the business and the suppliers. Now remember, the suppliers provides the business with raw materials that they use to produce products. So look at our little remember block at the bottom. If the business does not receive these materials, then the business cannot produce their products or services. So how does the relationship work? Firstly, the business depends on the supplier for their raw materials. Without these raw materials, the business cannot produce its goods or services. So it's very important for the business to identify reliable suppliers. And in exchange, we of course pay the suppliers. So we provide the suppliers with an income. So this is then, in a nutshell, the relationship between the business and its suppliers. Our next relationship component is between the business and the competitors. Now remember, our competitors refer to businesses that sell the same or similar products or services. So we are literally competing for the same consumers. So a business must always be aware of what their competitors are doing to keep the consumer's interest or to gain their interest. So a business will normally study the activities of the competitors. We want to know what our competitors are doing. We want to know, are they lowering the prices? Do they have a promotion or a new interesting product? Because then our business must take a look at our pricing strategies. So if they've got a lower price, we might just lower our prices to be more competitive. So we must firstly determine what their pricing strategies are to adapt ours. Then the second thing is we must then devise our strategies so we can provide goods or services that are better than our competitors. So we always want to keep our consumers happy by giving them the best possible products at the lowest possible prices. So our competitors can provide our business with challenges. So just let's quickly take a look at the reasons why competitors pose challenges to our business. Now, it is important for our business or for the business to always have a competitive advantage. So let's just draw your attention here to the remember block. A business will have a competitive advantage when they can deliver something to the consumers that the competitors cannot. So when a business has a product or it has a service unique to them, then you have a competitive advantage. So why does competitors pose a challenge? Firstly, our consumers will buy from the business where they get the most value for their money. Then secondly, our business can find it very hard to gain a competitive advantage. So say, for example, your competitor has a very good product for a very low price. Then we must strategize, or our business must strategize to gain a competitive advantage, to get our consumers to stay with us, or if they have already left to support the competitors, to come back to us. Now, we sometimes only look at the existing competitors. Sometimes there are new entrants to the market, so a new business that develops that can also be a competitor for us. And what's interesting, new businesses will mostly or sometimes have better products when they enter the market. It's something new and interesting, and the consumers will be interested in this new shiny business. So we as a business must always have a strategy to get our consumers' attention back to our products and our services. So the competition will pose a challenge because they maybe steal our consumers. All right, so that is the relationship between the micro and the market environment. Now, lastly, we are going to have a look at the relationships between the micro, market, and macro environment. So here I have a little example for everybody where we see the relationship between the three environments. Now, changes in the macro environment may affect the micro environment and in turn will then affect the market environment. So say, for example, there's an increase in our inflation rate, which means we have to pay more money more money on the money we borrowed. So our expenses will increase. So therefore, maybe our production cost will increase. So then, how are we going to keep our profit? We are going to increase our prices, and our consumers will have to pay a higher price. So let's just take a look at where does these developments lie. So for instance, the increase in inflation is a macro environment factor. So then we will increase our production costs, which is of course a micro environment factor. And then we must increase the prices for our consumers, which is a market environment factor. So there you can see an illustration of how these three environments can affect each other. Here I have another example for everybody where changes in the market environment can have an effect on the micro environment. So here we see that there is a new competitor. Here is the new competitor in the market, and they have lower prices. So what happens? Now we have to lower our prices, and that will decrease our profit. So of course our new competitor will be in the market environment. Because we want to stay competitive or have a competitive advantage, we will then lower our prices, which is a decision in the micro environment, and that then of course will decrease our profit, which is in the micro environment. So there, I hope I've illustrated for you guys how the relationship between the various environments can be and how they can affect each other and how they are dependent on each other. I hope I've helped you guys to understand the interrelationship between the business environments a bit more, and I hope I see you for our next lesson. Until then, bye-bye.